Sorry, I'm recording things just through me. So basically what I wanted to do today was just give you an outline of where we were in the USS situation. As you're aware, the employers have made a proposal within the constraints of this recent 2020 valuation. Now, there's a number of difficulties with the 2020 valuation, not least that it was a snapshot in time on probably one of the worst days of the last few years, 31st of March 2020, when the cost of pensions was made. So despite post-valuation experience coming in, the liabilities have seemed to have deemed to increase a lot. And if we maintained our current benefits on the current employer support, USS claim, and I use that word claim because we're not convinced, but they claim it would cost over 50% of salaries. And obviously that's an eye-watering amount of money and just totally unrealistic for any employer or employee to pay those sort of levels of contributions. Remember, all our contributions are on a 65-35 basis, 65% for the employer and 35% of the cost is for us, the members. So what's happened is that the employers have offered a lot more covenant support to bring that cost right down, and therefore have come up with a package of measures, including benefit cuts, that come in just over 30% of salary costs. So that would mean we would pay the same 9.6%, but the cuts to benefits would be quite noticeable. Our pensions would grow more slowly at 1/85 rather than 1/75, which realistically means you would be working longer to get the amount you would now. And the other major change well, there's a number of changes, but another major change would be a cut in the salary cap. At the moment, it hovers just under 60,000, which means you build up your benefits in defined benefit up to that point. And then if you earn over that, you then are building up in a defined contribution pot. So the proposal is from the employers to bring that down to 40,000, which would mean lecturers barely near the start of their career would already be in the hybrid. And condition indexation would be capped at 2.5% rather than the current 5 to 15. And a controversial measure would be bringing in a low cost defined contribution option for members who don't intend staying long or who are at the bottom end of the scale, pay scale. So whilst we understand they have to put measures in place around the 20%, the 2020 valuation costs, what we don't approve of is what those measures are. So after a lot of internal controversy within the union, it has been decided that we put in counter proposals. We are assuming for the purposes of those counter proposals that the employer covenants would be the same as it would be for the employer package. The employers have not confirmed this, but what other employer covenant are we going to assume? I mean, it's very difficult to be asked to be, what employer covenant is there, because unless the employer actually agrees with us a particular measure, we're a bit stuck because we have no control over employer finances. So we're assuming the same measure as the employers are given themselves in their package. And we have put together a package that bases around we still have a salary cap reduction. However, what we do want to focus on is for members at the start of their career. We've proposed to have a two-tier where members either pay nothing and the employer gives them puts a contribution in, and they build up very slowly. Wouldn't be the same accrual rate, but they would build up some pension in a defined benefit, or members pay half the regular amount and build up things a lot more slowly as well. Slightly different accrual rate. Now, we've talked to the employers about this, and it must be said that they are interested, but they will commit to nothing. And this is why we have more negotiations. Now, we've been asked why we haven't put out these packages to members, the UCU one. And that is because we're very conscious about the deadline for motions for the 9th of September conference. But what we don't want is our members and Congress getting into the detail of counter proposals which could well be withdrawn if we don't get the measure of employer support, covenant support required. So until we are really sure that the employers would support that, we don't want to distract people from the actual opposition to what the employers are proposing. We would like to see a sensibly a sensible 2021 valuation made using assumptions that are far less onerous than the assumptions being made. We'd like to see something that includes the assumption that we have ethical return-seeking assets. We'd like to assume that the economy will grow. We like to assume that the university sector is, strong and stable. We want to see something that's more based in the reality of a strong UK university sector, particularly, in recent times where we know that many both overseas and local UK students are keen to start taking up places in September. So what we want to do is continue talking to the employers. Now, we are expecting by the end of next week the employer packages to be put to the JNC. And what happens there is that they put their proposals, we put our counter proposals, which I still think we're likely to do. But as I say, we need that measure of employer support from them. And then the chair would have to pick which proposals to go with. Now, I can't see any of these proposals to be the liking of the membership, because they are, all of them, going to cut the benefits. And the fact ours we see as being better than the employers still doesn't make it something that we particularly want members to, we want members to have the same benefits that they've got now. So what we'll be doing is trying to get the employers to commit to covenant support for our package and basically stand behind us. And we've got meetings, as I say, on Monday, and then finally on the 26th next week. That'll be the big sort of showdown, if you like, where the chair will make some decision. We're already way past time for the regulator to sign off the, to have the valuation signed off for the regulator. So it can't drag on much longer. Next week's got to be some sort of decision. I can't see us getting any more time. And I can see us balloting for industrial action, or at least taking an indicative ballot. We will be informed by, we're also looking at the legal route. As you know, I actually had a long meeting yesterday with the QC and our actuary's first actuarial, feeding it into his report, which we're expecting fairly soon. Academics for Pension Justice has also been involved in these talks with him in a separate conversation. I'm only one of the people he's talked to. I'm not involved in as our head of legal. But I do understand we will get some sort of formal proposal from him about things. I didn't get the impression that we you know, that we were going to be, everything was going to be solved by the law. I had a friend who used to always say, the law is no friend of the worker. And I have found that to be true, really. You know, I think we have to use the law as a tool, but as one part of a bigger sort of package of measures, you know, to combat cuts to our benefits and jobs. So really, that's where we are. And I think after the end of next week, that's important. And that's when you'll get a full update. And as I say, the conference on the 9th of September, I hope representatives will be attending from this branch. You know, and we'll see what people want to do next. But I would be, as I say, expecting to see a ballot. Now, whether people want to go on strike or not, I don't know. How we're going to win it, I think it's going to be difficult because of the constraints of the financial, not just the scheme, but also the universities, the employers' financial situation. So a bit of a tough task, as I say, but I would welcome your views. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Chris.